Everyone, welcome back. We've just jumped in and we're going to do one of the recovery rides of the Zwift Academy recovery ride 2. So a bit weird because I haven't done recovery ride 1 or many of the other rides. I've only done that one that we put up the other day, but I'm still halfway through my little mini challenge of 700 Ks in 7 days on Zwift, and my body's pretty sore from not being able to move much, not because of the effort's hard, but I thought I've done like 6 or 7 Ks just rolling along before I come here now. But I thought this will make me ride at a nice easy pace instead of jumping straight into a zone 2 trying to get the Ks done. So I thought we'll do this. Maybe see how we feel after this. Whether I just take off and do some zone 2 stuff to get the Ks up, or whether I do one of the other workouts. A bit of intensity. And maybe here in the other recovery ride later today. I mean, I don't necessarily think I'm going to now let's see how hard they go, because I'm not doing this as a race. A few people will take off. They'll want to try and get the win, but just want to turn the legs over. Heart rate would be nice to stay under, I guess 120, but we'll see. Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to get the Zwift Academy actually done. Never set out to get it done, but it's got to be completed by the 25th. So there's plenty of days left, but the only problem is the baseline and finish line ride. I'd be basically doing them almost together. Like I wouldn't be able to do the baseline ride for another 5 or 6 days, because I want to try and if I did, like, I'm pretty fatigued. Train fees are saying I'm pretty fatigued, so I mean I could do it. Then just force myself through the workouts, freshen up, and then do the finish line ride and try to get better numbers, I guess. I'd have to, what's the date? 14 to 11 days, so could possibly get the 2 recovery rides even done today, or just this one and maybe one with one of the higher intensity ones. The only problem is I still want to get the amount of Ks in, so I have to do a lot of zone 2 or recovery Ks before and or after. To get my goal. So today is the 4th day, so I've got for the record, unless all these people are really fit, this is not a recovery ride. Because I'm not going too bad, and over 200 watts and over 120 heart rate is not a recovery rod. So I guessed right. I was thinking I maybe shouldn't have jumped in here, but if we want to try and tick the rides off in time, I suppose I've got to do it. But yeah, I never intended to get through all of the rides. Usually get a bit more focused doing my own thing, but that's how many Ks it's given me. It gives me enough. I might do the other recovery ride later. Later today, I mean, just to get some Ks up. That's a slightly lower intensity and just a bit of fun to ride along with some others. I suppose while we're tapping along, we can talk about some other stuff. I was looking at some of the articles from Training Peaks, just at what fitness level you should be at for the level you're racing at. And like say for masters, competitive masters, and or veteran like I am, they recommend between 60 and 100 CTL. So if you remember, we talked about CTL being chronic training load. That's your daily average training stress score for the last 6 weeks, 42 days. And you really do need to be fairly serious with your cycling if you want to get your TSS, your CTL up that high. It's I was trying to work it out. If you wanted to come in really good for a race, I normally, depending on how hard I've been training, it's always one tape a week. And if I'm really tired, or I've been pushing myself because I want to come up fresh, I could definitely have 2 weeks of taper. So, and of course you're not training, like your intensity's still there, but your volume's way down. So let's just say if you take out those 2 weeks because you're just trying to freshen up. So I said here, CTL is a rolling 6 week, 42 day average. So let's look at the 6 weeks prior to those 2 taper weeks. So now, all of a sudden, we're 8 weeks out from our race. If I wanted to let's just clear up that all training stress score is not equal. I could do super long rides every day and have a huge TSS, but there's no intensity, so I'm not going to win races. I'll just be very maybe aerobically fit, but not the muscles, the heart and lungs wouldn't be used to pushing real hard. So not all training stress score is equal, but I would need to, let's just say in those 6 weeks too, because keep in mind, usually every 4th week for me is a recovery week, but let's just say we did those 6 weeks straight, which would be difficult, but may be possible if you were going to have 2 weeks of nice taper. You might be able to get through it, but keep in mind, because you're going to drop so much in those last 2 weeks, you would have to do we're going way too hard here. You would have to do huge TSS for me. Well, I'm used to it anyway. I just don't know whether to go hard or not to keep up with these. 300 watts recovery ride. This is what I train by myself. I know everyone's got different zones, but you show me someone whose recovery ride is over 300 watts. This is why I train by myself. And then smoke most of these guys in a race. It's just not worth it. This is crazy. Maybe we won't do another ride later. Like an intensity one. I'll do this and just do some zone 2 stuff for the week. Anyway. Yeah, so those 6 weeks prior to your 2 weeks taper, you'd have to do I think I worked it out at, you'd need to be doing an average of, I think it was 700 TSS a week. Let's have a look. I'll trust the calculator out. So 700 by 6 weeks divided by 42 days is 100. So if we wanted to come into our taper with 100 CTL, we'd have to do an average of 700 TSS a week. So you could do, like, I guess for those 6 weeks you could do 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000 TSS. So to give you the, I guess that will give you the average 700. Like I say, it's still doing a build. Even 100 TSS a week is a big build, and then you're going to be ending up trying to get to 1,000 in your last week when you haven't had a recovery week in between at all. So that is pretty hard, and then I'm not exactly sure how much you'd lose yeah, I'm not sure how much you'd lose in those last 2 weeks. You're doing a bit of intensity but not volume, but like you'd be definitely down maybe, I don't know, 80 something maybe by 70, so you'd be crazy, still really fit. And in all honesty, I'm just keeping the numbers going around to aim for 100. Like, I've only ever got to low 60s with the volume that I can do. And then if I want to taper a race, I'm in the 50s. So I've got no doubt. Try and slow everyone up a bit. No doubt I'll drift straight back. Why people would want to race in a recovery ride. If this is how hard you recover, you're never going to race good. You're never going to come up fresh. Or if you do, you're never going to be at your best. If this is your normal, I mean, I'm trying to keep up too, so I'm doing the wrong thing, but I'm just trying to get K's in. But recovery is what makes you strong. So I don't do anywhere near enough zone 2 endurance or tempo stuff. I don't do it. And I possibly need to, I want to get racing back out in the real world again, which I'm not sure. But if we do, you know, I've got to get outside. I can't do the amount of Ks I need to on an indoor train. It's too sore. My body's too sore. But I pushed myself so hard with my sweet spot threshold and VO2 work that when I freshen up and recover, doing a race is usually heaps easier than a train. So, but if I was outside, or anyone who follows my workouts here, when I finish a hard workout, 9 times out of 10, if you look, I go and do another ride, usually maybe 20 minutes, and I don't break 100 watts. So for me, I've always said, yeah, if I'm recovering, I'm looking at heart rate, not power. Because my bike doesn't need to recover, but I do. So, so I usually stay well under, like, in all honesty, probably I'm somewhere around 110 heart rate. My threshold 176. My max is 196, I'll say. So, like, I'm just ticking over. And whatever the watts are, they are, but it's usually under 100, under 120 for sure. So for me, if my heart rate or power is over 120 for a recovery ride, then it almost wasn't a recovery ride. Like, this feels really, really easy for me now, but it's not the point of the ride. The ride was to be a recovery ride, and I was going to let the legs freshen up, maybe had a crack at one of the lower intensity things, workouts, because I don't really care how fatigued I am. There's no date to freshen up and race for. Like, I'm just doing a stupid little goal of how many Ks I can do in a week to keep motivated. Something to aim for. But seems to be a bit nicer pace, just roll on over. I have to admit, I don't know Zwift Academy at all, so I don't know if there's prizes for coming in first in a recovery ride, but if there is, then it's just another reason why I'm not really interested in doing it. As Paul would have seen too, I do heaps more training on here than racing. I do, like I like to do a race, but, and I keep saying I'll get stuck into it and see what I can get my ranking to, but I find, unless I can just jump into, I can actually be available in the time slots where the riders are all way better than me, and I'm just on the rivets from the start. There's just no point, because although they're hard and they're on off and like it's certainly not easy, as you can see by the end of some of my races, but the overall wattage and the stress score from the races aren't anywhere near what I get out of training. So I just need to look at the time slots and just go into the races where I'm, you know, basically on the limit from the start. It's just chasing, trying to hold on. Because my overall fitness is what I like to work on. It's always nice to have a win, but the only person I find I really competing against is myself with my own numbers. I'll take a personal best over a win in a race on here any day, because I know the numbers that I've put out. My best numbers are just that. Like when I set that, whatever number that was, I would have been on the limit. That was the very best I could do, and more than not, I was trying to do my best. Rarely would my personal bests come by accident, unless it was like in a sprint or something. Even like a 1 minute maybe, end of a race, but normally I'm trying to do my best. But yeah, back to what we're talking about with a TSS. If you're a multi-sport athlete, you do a bit of riding and then do some running, When I was doing that, when I was getting heart rate TSS, which is not as accurate, but my TSS was starting to go up quite high because it was saying that different movement was taking, adding quite a bit of extra stress on the body. I don't know if running's always higher or it's because I was doing both. No idea. But just cycling TSS, you really get up near 100 for your CTL. It's easy to do 100 TSS. I've done 300 in the last 3 days. And if it just so happens that me riding around sort of zone 2, 100 Ks is about 100 TSS. So, if I was outside, I wouldn't be sore or fatigued. So I could easily get up to there if I had lots of time, but it's a lot of hours in a week you've got to dedicate to training and intensity, and keeping in mind you're always going to have 1 or 2 days, like you might have a day off, plus 1 recovery day in your training week. You can't get played out every day for 6 weeks. So you're going to have maybe a day off. So that 700 TSS needs to be actually done in quite possibly, well, how many days off you having? You're having 1 day off. You need to do it in 6 days. If you're having 2 days off, you've got to be done in 5, or a recovery day has to be, you've got to, that makes at least 5 days of either intensity or a lot of duration, or a little combination of both. A lot of hours. Certainly a lot of hours. So it's, yeah, this is what's important to you and how much time you got. Start another fan. Well, lesson learnt. It's definitely too hard. So that being said, I could easily drop off. But I'll hang in just to prove a point to myself. Not do it again. As you said, it's not hard, but it's definitely not a recovery ride. Always have to you don't always have to be better than the person beside you or the people around you. I just don't get it. you've picked a session, training or racing, and it's like, rightio, game on, by all means. But the fact that, as I said earlier on, I'm ticking on over 300 watts. You cannot show me, I know it was uphill, but you can't show me a rider who has a recovery roll at 300 watts. So I'm not having to crack at anyone that I'm riding with here either, even though it's still too hard. And I'm one of them, so can't do anything about it, but I'm joining in. I just find that this is the reason that I train so much by myself. So many people ahead of us, I don't know how many. Look, each to their own. Maybe some of them need to have a decent hard ride today. They also need to mark off this ride, so I'll just combine them. Fair call. But the fact that I have no idea whereabouts in the group, in a whole group of riders, and we're still doing 200. Everyone's just too keen on it. But you learn from experience. Like, first time I've ever done the Zwift recovery ride. The guys up the front could be like me going, last time I went in this, everyone went too hard, so today I'll teach them a lesson. Just go crazy. Possibly. But for me, a good recovery ride on Zwift would be a really flat course. Usually I do something under 10k, but I try to pick a really short, flat course. Stick over in the small chain ring, have a chat with you guys. Sometimes I go to the big one just to feel the pressure on the legs, but don't actually put any pressure back on the pedals. They usually still stay around 100. And that might be, I think if I just do a normal recovery ride on Zwift, like let it set its thing, I think it usually puts me like 150 watts. And no worries, it's all good. But if I'm doing a recovery ride on my own, especially indoors, where I can get a bit more control, it won't be 150. I think I lost my helmet. Oh, I've got this hat on. soon as we get to a climb, straight out the back, 250 watts. I'm a bit grumpy, aren't I? Maybe because I don't have any coffee on this recovery ride. It's too hard. I need one of those hats with the straw and my coffee to keep up so I can have a drink. I think lockdown must be getting to me. Even though this is easy, I'm just a bit irritated that it's not just rolling along. And yes, we're just slower. I'm planning for no reason at all. I have to find the motivation to, I think I've done about 7 or 8 Ks. This might give me about 30. So I've still got to find about another 70 Ks, give or take, for the day to keep on track. If I get past today with me 100 per day, it's like hump day, so I'm over the hill. Get through tomorrow, only 2 days to go. That'd be a good little achievement. Certainly never done that much in 1 week on Zwift, I don't think. Not that I probably ever will again. I need to get a bit more comfortable. But riding inside so much, I must admit, when you get outside and you've got that bit of movement on the bike, you're so much stronger. So I can't wait to, my fitness this year has really gone through the roof. Just got to keep the motivation there now, not let it go. But I'm looking forward to trying to get my weight under 70. Possibly increase my FTP here inside, although I'm seeing some good gains this year, but I think I'm starting to slow up because just trying to get through programs that I've used in the past at the new intensity, it's basically almost impossible. So, what's that tell you? Been pushing too hard, too long maybe, or just, that's what I'm doing, having a bit of a break now, doing some different stuff. Also dropping weight. I might not be able to maintain. I'm confident of keeping me 350. As my FTP, but I have to be fresh to do it. And also, the other thing is I think I could, and my initial goal, it's always good to remember, not only But you need to remember when you set a goal, not necessarily when you achieved it, but when you set it, because at the time you set it, you couldn't do it. It was, so yeah, don't think to when you just achieved the goal. What was your mindset and what was your fitness when you set it? Because my main goal was to ride at 350 watts. And be 70, so I've been, well, in all honesty, I probably haven't really got there yet. I've been at the watts per kilo amount, but I haven't been, only time I weighed 70, my FTP, my power was down below that, but also, so my weight is a bit over 70 now, but I can all, my FTP equals to riding at 370 for the 20 minutes. I've done 350 comfortably enough, fatigued, so I'm very close. But yeah, like by riding at that 350 mark now, 20 would be no worries, and I can't wait to freshen up and do an outdoor test. Yeah, I just can't wait to feel strong and fresh and just go and hammer as hard as I can for 20 minutes outdoors. I know the road I'll probably do it on, but it's still just that little bit undulating. I'd love to find just a really nice, steady, long climb. Not even a climb, just that slight rise, so you can just keep the pressure on the pedals. But in all honesty, that might be still a few months away. Because the road I want to do it on is back in Victoria, and I'm up in New South Wales at the moment. Not for long though, borders will be open soon. What's the bet that everyone sprints at the finish? Except me. I wonder. They've even got power-ups. What the hell have we got power-ups in a recovery ride? That just must be so different to everyone else. I'll end the video as we go across the line because it's bloody way too long anyway, it's just me talking again. I've really got to work out how to talk less and just do some 10 or 15 minute videos. I don't know how to do it. Keep looking at all the other YouTubers. They still have good content. And I put it in like 15 minutes. All I do is talk crap. Really need to just do races and just do highlights in the races, I think. Well, I'm gonna finish this ride, do a few stretches, work out what to do. I might even jump in just with some pace partners, C-grade pace partner, and just tick over some Ks, watch the rerun of the Julian Alaphilippe winning the World Championships or something. It's been nice having a chat with you. Not sure if anyone watches these videos all the way through. If you do, I appreciate it. The whole idea I started it was to just, everyone's picking up the pace. I'm spat. Yeah, just to try and create a bit of interaction, and even if I don't get comments from other people, it's good that I get to see the likes and the comments, like, well, just the interaction, and get a message every now and then. Rightio. I'm going to bid you goodbye. We'll talk again soon on the next video. Cheers.